Just a sneeze brought the mummy, who had been sleeping for thousands of years, back to life. The woman looked at him calmly as he opened the cabinet door and walked out, apologizing that he had broken the glass. The woman said it's okay, she will clean it up herself. He cautiously walked forward, pointed to the girl, and said that they looked very similar. The woman said this is her twin sister and woke her up to heal her own sister. A few years ago, an accident occurred where my younger sister became a vegetative. A tennis ball hit her head-on and hit her forehead, causing her to fall to the ground. The hat pin also fell off and pierced her brain directly. Although my sister did not die, she became a vegetable. Adèle is very self-blaming. She explores the world and visits famous doctors all over, just to help her sister return to normal. Later on, it was heard that the doctors of ancient Egyptian pharaohs had the ability to revive the dead. She traveled thousands of miles to Egypt and with the help of the locals, she quickly found the pharaoh's tomb. She pressed the stone gate mechanism and a large amount of black liquid gushed out, but this was not the actual entrance. She took out a book, held quicksand in her hand, and put it on a plate, quickly finding the real entrance. When the Egyptians saw gold, they excitedly pounced on it. Everyone was immersed in the dream of wealth, but Adèle was only interested in the mummy in the sarcophagus. She was about to open the sarcophagus but was stopped.
Violer la sépulture d'un pharaon est un sacrilège. Tu peux être pendu pour ça.
Et lui voler son or, quel est le châtiment?
K. As soon as the words fell, the jewelry around the man's neck came to life, constantly tightening until it was sent to heaven and his companions were sent to hell to accompany him. Adèle had just opened the coffin, but before she could be happy, another army arrived behind her. It turned out that a traitor had appeared in the team and they had been arrested. However, Adèle remained calm and used her smoking skills to throw a lighter at the oil on the ground, running towards the coffin without looking back. The coffin drifted downwards along the underground river with the mummy.
Pardonnez-moi cette intimité soudaine.
Adèle put in a lot of effort to bring the mummy back, and the next step is to find someone who can awaken him, and this person is the Bald Professor. Professor Bald is an expert in studying ancient Egyptian culture and obtained a degree in physics at the age of 16. At the age of 51, he understood the essence of life, that after death, the soul can still exist forever. On that day, he was experimenting with ancient Egyptian magic at home, but unexpectedly resurrected a creature from ancient times and bound his soul and consciousness to it. The pterosaur fell, and the professor also fell. It made a sound, and the professor followed suit, even changing his movements. However, the pterosaur's consciousness was too strong, and it quickly lost control. After running out, it accidentally killed 3 people, one of whom was the director of the police station. The phone is ringing.
Comment ça, je m'assène? Oh mon Dieu. Oh mon Dieu.
The next day, the professor held the meet and attracted the pterosaur over. The police came to the museum to investigate this matter, and he pointed to the dinosaur egg that had broken its shell. The dean recommended the expert studying Jurassic to the police, and when they arrived at the professor's house, the pterosaur became manic due to an egg.
C'est à cause de l'œuf. Il n'a pas supporté. Embarque-le-moi, ce malade! Embarque-le-moi!
The professor was arrested and sentenced to death. After learning about this, Adèle found the pterosaur and took out her feather scarf to tame it. She wrote it to rescue the professor. Just as the professor was about to be beheaded, Adèle rode a dragon and flew over. She grabbed the professor and rescued him, but was hit head-on by a hunter who was squatting. Just as a few people were about to go home and wake up the mummy, the hunter shot the pterosaur with one shot, and the professor was also injured in the same position. Adèle rushed home with the professor. He set up an altar with an ancient object, and the professor closed his eyes before starting to cast spells. Just as he was trying to establish a connection with the mummy, his body couldn't withstand the immense energy and fell to heaven. Adela fell into despair, the professor died, her own sister was not saved, the mummy was not awakened, and all her efforts were in vain. At this moment, the mummy let out a millennium-long sneeze, and politely said thank you. Adela asked him to use his superb medical skills to save her sister. The mummy said he resurrected the wrong person. He is a nuclear physicist and is not good at treating illnesses and saving lives. Adela collapsed instantly.
Permettez que je me fasse sauter.
Faites comme chez vous.
Ah, vous êtes bien aimable. Et je dois vous avouer que pendant toute cette aventure, je vous ai trouvé particulièrement chaleureuse à mon égard. Et je vous en remercie.
Vous entendiez?
Tout.
Et vous voyez aussi quand par exemple je...
Ne soyez pas gênés. Quand on a un corps comme le mien, on apprécie davantage celui des autres.
Merci.
Fortunately, it was not without success. The mummy stated that all the doctors were buried next to the pharaoh, who could not do without them. The mummy said that the spiritual power that the professor just unleashed was enough to revive the mummy within a radius of 2 kilometers.
Heureusement réveiller la mauvaise personne.
Minute papillon. Comment ça sur 2 kilomètres?
Oui, probablement. Ce genre de rayonnement résonne comme les ondes de la pierre que l'on jette à la surface de l'eau.
Et Ramsès II ne se promenait jamais sans ses docteurs, c'est bien ça?
Ah oui, même pendant les accouplements, il ne quittait pas la pièce.
Adela was about to go find the pharaoh with him, but the mummy, who had not been out for thousands of years, was so excited that she wanted to ask passers-by for directions, causing them to faint in fear. Adela accused him of not talking to passers-by as he would scare them. Your mummy has been sleeping for 5,000 years and he is curious about what the world is like now, but soon they encounter difficulties.
Bon, ce serait bien que vous nous serviez quand même à quelque chose dans cette histoire, hein, parce que sinon je vais vous envoyer voguer sur la scène, ça vous changera d'une île, croyez-moi.
Oh, c'est bon, vous fâchez pas. Un peu d'honneur n'est-il pas censé adoucir les mœurs?
He waved his small hand and the lock automatically opened. They met patrol personnel in the exhibition hall, and the mummy drew a circle in the air. A few people then fell asleep. They arrived at the main tomb, and Adela asked each other one by one if they were doctors. The mummies inside were all shaking their heads.
Pardonnez-moi, vous êtes chirurgien? Je cherche un docteur. Oula! Vous n'êtes pas docteur, vous.
The mummy approached the pharaoh and with a gentle wave, the sarcophagus automatically opened. The pharaoh sat up from inside, stretched his hands and stretched lazily.
Bien dormir. Admosis, quel est cet accoutrement ridicule?
Oh, une simple tenue locale, Majesté.
The mummy introduced Adela to the pharaoh. He said that they were all awakened by Adela to help heal her sister. Seeing their sister's deep feelings, the pharaoh was also deeply moved. He appointed his own doctor to help her heal.
Merci. Votre Altesse. Sérénissime.
The doctor took off his sister's hat, looked at the pin on her forehead, and without saying a word, pulled it out.
Mais vous êtes complètement malade! Je vous ai pas demandé de la tuer, mais de la ramener à la vie, espèce de sac en toi!
The mummy quickly grabbed Adela, and the doctor's spell proceeded in an orderly manner. The doctor took out the pharaoh's organs, crushed them into powder, and then poured mysterious liquid into them. He stirred it evenly with his fingers, lightly tapped it on her eyebrows, wrapped it in their specially made bandage, and finally, the pharaoh offered him a kiss.
Le baiser est obligatoire?
Non, pas vraiment. Une tradition plutôt. Il faut mieux faire avant son réveil, car après, je ne suis pas sûr qu'elle accepte.
Oui, vous m'étonnez.
So, miraculously, the younger sister woke up, and Adela excitedly hugged her. The mummy also waved goodbye to him. A group of mummies swaggered out of the exhibition hall, sleeping soundly for too long. They were going out for a walk to breathe.
Pardonnez-moi, monsieur, de vous importuner de nouveau.
Faites.
Auriez-vous l'amabilité de nous indiquer le Nil?
Mais bien sûr.
Adela finally set sail on the Titanic and embarked on a new adventure. To avoid missing out on more exciting movies, please click subscribe.